Hi, good afternoon to all those rose lovers. Welcome back to my garden. And look at that weather. Blue, sunny blue sky in UK. What an unusual sight that is. And we are seeing a lovely spell of warm weather in UK. And I have no intention of making any videos since my previous one, but seeing my Lady Greenfinger's sister, well, she's been uploading quite a lot of her videos, and I feel that I've been left behind. And there is a saying goes, if you can't beat them, you might as well join them. And here I am today, showing some of my roses that are still in flower and some of the ones that you haven't seen before. And this is Pink Perfection, and also known as Beverly. This one has one of the sweetest scent in my garden, and very similar to Mill on a Floss. And seeing so much new growth from this is really pleasing. And previously it's been quite shaded, having that sycamore tree behind me gone, and it's really thriving. And this is Harlo Carr. Harlo Carr is a David Austin rose, blooming in clusters of very small light pink blooms. Has decent fragrance, but extremely thorny. Very tall, very lanky, and very spindly, and not my favorite rose. And just have a look at some of my container roses in the middle there. This is Mum in a Million. Look at how healthy that is. And I didn't see much of her blooms on the first flush, but seeing so many new growth as well, it's going to be amazing. And down there is one of my favorite perfumers. This is Bliss Perfumer by Cordelia. Stunning rose, gorgeous scent, and a lovely color. These color look quite similar to Princess Charlotte de Monaco, which I'm gonna show you in a minute. Really good rose, very healthy, and although it is quite sprawly, and I don't mind that because I really love this rose a lot. Let me try to get hold of that cluster there. Wow, look at that. What an amazing rose this is. And these blooms eventually turn from pink to almost pale white. I know you can't see it very well under this very bright light, but there it is. Beautiful rose. And this one is another Cordelia Delightful Perfumer. Unfortunately, as a lot of these blooms were balled up by the amount of rain we've been seeing in UK. Yeah, majority of these blooms were ruined. Probably that one there is the best that I've seen out of maybe 40 blooms. Even that cluster there, you see, all ruined. This is quite a heavy petal pack flower, very heavy. Hence it's been, but it does have quite very sturdy stems. And balling up has been a recurring for most of my Cordelia roses. And this is Penelope Lively. Penelope Lively. These blooms are getting smaller and smaller as the season progresses. And that's why it's important that we keep feeding these roses, because it really needs a lot of nutrient. And Boscobel there has been absolutely amazing this year for me. I can't really capture the true color under this very bright light. And this amazing Evelyn here has produced about 7 basil shoots. That's going to look amazing, and I think that's going to be one of my favorite roses in my garden. And this is Abraham Darby. Abraham Darby, whether this is a first flush bloom or second flush, I'm not sure, but some of these stems that have buds on it, these are new shoots coming out, so I suppose that is first flush. And Red Perfumer de Provence by Mayon. This is one of the slowest growing bare root that I have in my garden this year. But I have patience because it is looking really, really good. Very healthy, very bushy. And this next one here is Pacific Blue. Pacific Blue is a Tantau rose. Look at that. Stunning, stunning form. And these blooms are about 5 days old. Unfortunately for this rose, I've not had any fresh growth or basal shoots coming from this rose, but I've been feeding it a lot, and there it is, a new size cane coming out there, and that's the first time for me for this rose. When I did a fragrant video, this came at number 14, so it has really good fragrance. And that is another Penelope Lively. I'm gonna move the more buds to come. This one seems to be one of the late flowering David Austin roses. I'm just gonna show you that cluster there. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And a lot of these roses will show its true color after their first flush, which means they may be very susceptible to disease after their first flush. So for me, for anyone, it's really important to really keep them water and well fed, so they're not in some sort of stress. Elizabeth, she still has her first flush flowers, and look at how small that is. Absolutely tiny. Even my ground cover rose blooms are bigger than that. Come on, why so small? Yeah, it is cute, but it's just nothing really to look at on this rose. I'm sorry, Elizabeth, but you know, you really have disappointed me. And this is Poet's Wife. Poet's Wife, and above her is a rose called Pink Perpetual. Pink Perpetual is a pink climbing rose, but there isn't anything for her to climb onto. And this one, many viewers have identified this rose, unknown rose, to be Iceberg. Well, I'm happy with that because I really think this is a very, very good rose, very, very popular rose. And this rose has been an amazing rose. It has been flowering for the past 3 weeks, and it still has some of her blooms yet. This is Duchess of Cornwall, and Duchess of Cornwall is a rose bred by Tantau, and in my opinion, one of the most best rose bred by that company. Beautiful, beautiful rose. Very, very healthy and compact. And down there is a rose called Delbar, Henry Delbar. It's not really done much in terms of growing. And this next one is Black Perfumer de Provence. I've only had a couple of blooms from this one. It's been quite a stingy rose. Colour is very, very similar to Munstead Wood, but I think Munstead Wood is much, much nicer in terms of formation. And this is a cutting of mine. This one is Destimona. I was tempted to give this away, but it's probably one of my best cuttings, so I want to keep it. I don't know where to put it yet. And this is Lady Gardener. Lady Gardener was voted one of the top best performing roses for me this year. Really, really gorgeous, stunning of a rose. Very, very upright, very healthy, and these blooms does last a lot longer than majority of my David Austin roses. And that rose there is probably one of the cleverest roses in my garden. It is flowering, taking center stage right now when all my other roses are not in flower. This is the showstopper right now in my garden. This is a ground cover rose and covered in a gazillion blooms. An amazing rose. And if you have a hedging of this rose along and have 4 or 5, this will look amazing. And I'm not sure whether you can see it under this bright light. I certainly can't see it. It is huge, massive of a rose. And this is Dame Judy Dench, and look at that bouquet there. Previously, I've never liked this rose because it's never really done much for me in the ground, but since moving in the pot, it really has absolutely thrived. And some of these blooms are quite messy, although it is quite a number of days old now. So, and so many blooms down there. Yeah, this has been quite a good rose. And it does really love being in a container. And as I always said, many of my roses does prefer being in a container. And this is a rose called Souvenir Baden de Baden. This is another very stingy of a rose. I'm only getting 4 blooms from this rose, 1 per each stem. This is a Cordes rose, and this one is Meteor. Look at that fantastic color, really vibrant, very bright, and these stamens are very unusual, very green and really prickly in the middle. I know some of you might think this is not everybody's cup of tea, but I really love that kind of vibrant, bright color, and not the easiest rose to companion plant with some of your other plants because it's just very bright. And this is orange, and then when it starts to fade, it turns to almost like a red, flame red, I would say. That green in the middle really stands out quite a lot for me. And look at that healthy green shiny foliage. And this rose was Rose of the Year for 2024. And I love this rose. Very compact. Love it a lot. This is a new rose for me. And this is a rose bred by Tantau. This is called Lady Capri. And I've seen Lady Capri in Gemma's garden. It really is such a beautiful rose, and has a lovely old rose fragrance as well. Unfortunately, I have not seen this rose fully open yet, and so far it has produced few flowers, and so far I'm very happy with this rose. And behind there is Perennial Blue, repeat rambling rose. Fantastic rambler that is. And down there is my first maiden bloom of Princess Charlotte de Monaco. And these blooms are quite loosely formed and very frilly. And this is what I find with a lot of Milan roses. Their blooms are typically very much the same. They all look like that, unfortunately. And this is where the Milan as a company, that's where I find their blooms really lack kind of variety. They just really all look very much basically the same. But these blooms are very long lasting, and the fragrance on Princess Charlotte de Monaco, that is pretty amazing. It is quite a new planted rose from bare root, but I'm glad it's really alive, and I've got a surviving Princess Charlotte de Monaco. It is a gorgeous rose, and a very famous one worldwide. And then this is another new one for me. This is Princess de Luxembourg, bred by Cordelia. Blooms in clusters, light pink blooms. Has a very nice formation of very classical old rose formation. Unfortunately, this rose does not have any scent, and it is quite spiky, very thorny of a rose. For me, this is just an average rose. And this rose is a new one to me. This is called Princess de Luxembourg, Cordes rose. Blooms in clusters of very light pink flowers, and these buds, these flower forms are very classic old rose formation. Pretty decent flower, but unfortunately I don't get a scent from this rose. I'm slightly a bit disappointed. It is very tall and very thorny, and yeah, for me this is just an average rose. I was hoping I'd get a bit more from this rose, but no, I think the lack of scent really sort of put me off. And down there is another rose inspired by Rose Garden Gem. This is Mary Ann, Tantau rose. And again, I saw this in her garden. I was instantly fell in love with it. It is very small right now, because it was one of the worst bare root that I received from this company called Watton. And again, this rose you cannot buy anywhere else, not even in UK. And then this very last bloom from Maid Marian, a David Austin rose, has always been very reliable and very healthy. And then the one behind there, that is Madame Anisette. Look at that, clusters of bloom. Gorgeous rose. Previously I've been getting an unusual sort of scent from this one, but today I'm getting a very strong myrrh scent. Yeah, very strong myrrh scent. And I did see a lot of blooms that were bored up, which I'd removed from the bush. So for me, balling up is recurring from some of my Cordes roses. And with the weather warming up, the blooms are really starting to open how they should. And this one, pink one here, light pink one, is a ground cover rose. And isn't she beautiful? And this rose, you don't really need to do anything to this rose. It just keeps rewarding you. And very similar to my sister's Monaco climbing rose, the color, everything. And down there, well, that's Munstead wood. Yeah, Munstead wood is quite a difficult rose, and I know a lot of people want that rose, but believe me, honestly, you do not want this rose unless you're a collector, because it is quite a difficult rose to get to thrive. Yeah, I wouldn't bother. I might dig this one up because it is really dense down there, and perhaps this is why it isn't thriving, but I've not seen a prolific one in UK. And I'm gonna just show you a couple of more roses before we end this video. This is Princess Alexandra of Kent, and a couple of Leonardo da Vinci's. Again, as you can see, these Milan bud formation, they're all quite similar, very loosely formed, not as complicated and dense as some of my other David Austins or Cordeses. And then down there, oh, that's another Mama in a Million. There was previously there were a lot of these, what they call it, I can't remember, but yeah, they're growing along here, and I pulled them away. And this really huge cluster belongs to Sweet Honey. Sweet Honey is a very prolific rose. And I can't imagine any other rose other than this rose can really thrive in this very dense area. And yeah, I'm not getting any scent from this rose. Perhaps maybe when it's mature I might get a scent, but no, I don't get any scent from this whatsoever. And this is a very, very special rose. This one is an American rose called Distant Drums. Yeah, the scent is mind-blowing. Has a very strong mauve scent. I've not seen any people mention about the scent on Distant Drum, but for me, the scent is really, really strong, equivalent to my Wallerton Oldh, stronger than Strawberry Hill and Scepter d'Isle, and those mauve scent are very, very strong. But look at that, a really unusual color. It is a very, very special rose, this one is. And Coco Loco again, after 4 days. And I want to show you this again because there's a lot of flowers opening now. And this for me has been an absolute amazing of a rose. I know some of you might think this is just a novelty rose. And this color is just so unique, and that bloom there is just almost perfect, and that's how I like this bloom to look. And eventually opening to this very open, showing its stamens, and there is a bee in there. I really love this rose. There's just so many pinks, yellows, reds and whites in our garden. We really want something so different and so unique, and this really fits the bill. And very similar to my sister's Mocorosas that she has, and I'm jealous that she has it. And I'm quite surprised how it's turned out. So I'm gonna get another Mocorosa. And if there is any other ones that are like this, I'm gonna buy some more because I really love this color. And I haven't got any companion plants to combine with, so I don't really have much problem having this rose growing on its own. This is quite a recently introduced in this country, maybe a couple of years, and an American breeder. I think given time, this rose would be a very, very popular rose amongst many UK gardeners. And this is Timeless Purple, and Timeless Purple is one of the 4 timeless varieties by this company. And I think they do a Timeless Pink, Timeless Cream, Timeless Charisma, and this one, Timeless Purple, one of my favorite one of them all. And I only bought the 3 just to get to this rose. Look at that, really gorgeous color, very, very cerise pink, stunning formation. Very, very healthy variety. This is by far one of my favorite of the 4. The 3 of them are dotted around my garden somewhere, and I know 2 of them are in intensive care unit as they were planted in a very wrong, awkward location. They have been potted up and started to thrive. And unfortunately, there's only a medium to light scent on this rose. I assume this is only available to buy in UK and not around the world, and very, very popular in this country now. It has become very, very popular, and I know a lot of people have this rose, and this is, yeah, by far one of my favorite one of the 4. And this is an update on some of my newly planted roses. We had a couple of days of very, very heat wave, and today is a lot cooler and a lot breezier. This is a rose called Souvenir Baden. This is a Cordes rose, and as you can see there, these roses are blooming on 1 per singular stem, and lovely color, very cream to apricot. and doesn't have any scent on this. And this stem here does have multiple blooms on one stem, as you can see there. This is quite a new rose to me, so I don't really know much about this rose, but it does look quite compact, and I do like the form of these very sort of ruffle petals. Gorgeous color, and so far a very healthy variety. And Souvenir de Baden-Baden. I don't know what that means in German. And this one down there is a rose called Meteor. I think I might have showed you this last time. This is a gorgeous award-winning rose, this one for year 2024. Very compact variety, very glossy, shiny leaves. A very compact bush that is. And it is called Meteor for a reason. Look at that, look like someone set that bloom on fire. This is Lady Capri, and Lady Capri is bred by a company in German called Tantau. So this is a German rose, and I was inspired by a lady called Rose Garden Gems. Her name is Gemma, and I saw this in her garden. I really instantly fell in love. And look at that color and the formation of these blooms. Really wonderful rose, and it does have a medium to light old rose scent. But I don't have anything really in my garden that has this color. Very unique. And yeah, thank you, Gemma, for showing me this rose. This is Mary Ann. Mary Ann is bred by Tantau. And again, I was inspired by Rose Garden Gem to find this rose. And I saw this in her garden, and again, I just really instant fell in love. Very compact and bushy hybrid tea rose with very large cup-shaped quartered nostalgic flowers. And depending on the weather, these color varies, and you can have totally two different color of flowers on one bush. It's like having two roses in one bush, and it's pretty amazing. Very compact. This was quite a poor bare root which I received from this company called Watton. Even that stem there has gone black. I do have one very healthy stem which has produced a number of blooms. Has decent fruity fragrance, but it's the color which stands out for me. It is really beautiful. This is Yves Piaget. Yves Piaget is bred by Mayon. This rose was a replacement from the one that died last year. Very fragrant. One of the most fragrant roses in my garden. And the formation of these blooms are really extraordinary, very unusual, almost frilly-like. I've had a few flowers already from this bush, very young plant, and I yet to decide what I should do with this one. But I will give this one more go. This is a very fussy and difficult rose to have in your garden. Yeah. And behind there is Distant Drums. Distant Drum has almost faded to white. The color is very almost mocha or latte kind of color when it first opens. And this one has one of the strongest myrrh scent, and not many people have mentioned that. And you know what? That Astra mirror is nearly 5 foot tall. That is crazy. How do these grow so tall? And I've always thought these were quite short and compact. And even one's down here, about 3 foot tall, but that one there is mingling along with some of my climbing roses. That is crazy. Yeah. And I will just show you a couple of more roses. This is Raspberry Cupcake, also known as Raspberry Perfumer. And these blooms fade to something, a color which I don't like. It's too wishy-washy, if you understand what I mean. Yeah. And lastly, I will show you Frederick Minstrel. Frederick Minstrel is bred by Oldh, a very, very fragrant hybrid tea. And look at the size of these blooms. These are massive. And like most hybrid teas, I don't like their blooms opening to this. It's just very ruffled and very messy. Very, very fragrant rose, this one. And look at these stems, are very, very solid. And that is the bloom from Watton, Oldh. Watton, Oldh and Destimona there are really producing a lot of new fresh growth in preparation for their second flush. And I was tempted to move Watton, Oldh, relocate to somewhere else, but seeing so many fresh growth, I think I'm just gonna leave it there. And I will show you a few more roses before I wrap this up. And down there is a rose called Raspberry Cupcake by Cordelia. Really stunning, stunning color and a very, very good scent. Very, very decent rose in my garden, but this is what I really want to show you. And this is Udora. Udora is a rose bred by a company called NIP International. This really, really stunning, almost like a romantic flower goblet shape. And these petals are very, very lilac pink, very, very upright. And look at that really thick, sturdy stem, very, very thorny. And this fragrance is so strong, very intense. It won a fragrance award at 2021 Rose in the competition in Rome, and 2022 in a competition in Monaco. Yeah, so quite a few awards for fragrance. I mean, next to these two, and they do look quite similar in terms of color, but this formation of the bloom on Udora is just beautiful. Really, really stunning, stunning formation. And this is probably one of my, this is how I like my roses. It's got that really sort of a circle wrapping the middle, whereas this one just opens up quite freely. But yeah, this is so far has been an excellent rose for me. And that is my garden update for 1st of June. And I will leave you with this very, very beautiful timeless purple. And have a lovely day.